Hey guys, it's Ryan here from Explained, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be watching a movie called Ultraviolet, which was released back in 2006. So turn on the subtitles and spoilers ahead. Ultraviolet revolves around a set of infected humans who are called hemophages and have vampire-like characters. The movie starts with 5 hemophages being sent down to infiltrate the Ark Ministry building. On their entry, they put down 5 medical researchers and proceed with their mission to retrieve a weapon created to destroy them. Instead, they get surrounded in a part of the building by some armed forces. The military forces shoot them immediately, and it turns out it was a trap. A few men from the militant group come in to examine the infiltrators and confirm whether they're hemophages or not. Unconsciously, Cross, one of the men that came in for the examination, already has his finger stained with the blood of a hemophage, which consequently means he'll be infected. Without wasting any time, one of his colleagues notices it and kills him instantly, as he's become a liability to them. This infection happens to have started spreading among humans when an American weapon laboratory discovered an obscure virus that has been in existence for a very long time. The laboratory was trying to modify the virus to create super fast and strong soldiers in order to boost their military strength. However, they got the process wrong and instead created a more contagious and stronger virus. That's when most humans started to get infected, and then everything changed. The Ark Ministry, a militant medical group that has taken control of the government, starts to round up the infected citizens and exterminate them mainly because they feel threatened by the enhanced strength, intelligence, and speed of the infected. The head of the militant group, Ferdinand Daxus, informs his men that a weapon has been created which has the potential to kill all the hemophages all over the world, and a special courier has been ordered to bring that weapon to the Ark Ministry. At the facility where the weapon is created, a courier called XPD-154 comes to take its delivery. In order to enter the facility, she's required to pass some verification process. She's made to sit in a chair, and then the doctors take her blood sample, retinal testing, and other sorts of medical tests to check if she's a hemophage or not. The results of the test proves that she doesn't have the virus in her system, so she's taken to where the weapon is. Then a person hands her a briefcase and warns her not to open it and see its contents. Just when she's about to take the briefcase with her, the real XPD-154 arrives and informs the guard that they have actually let in an imposter. The girl who impersonated the real courier is Violet Song. When the virus was first spreading, she too got infected when her husband was killed in front of her. After having contracted the virus, she was captured by the Ark Ministry and was forced to abort her baby. Later, she managed to escape and joined an underground resistance movement, fighting to protect the infected ones from being exterminated by the militant group. And now she is here to steal the weapon that is created to destroy her and her kind. Violet is well skilled in martial arts, and with her other abilities, she bravely fights back against the security guards and manages to hold on to the briefcase. She actually used metasuppressants to suppress the infection in her system, so when she got tested by medical professionals, nothing was found. She obtains the weapon and carries out the operation successfully. The armed forces continue to go after her, but are not able to catch her. Violet reaches out to her handler that goes by the name Nerva, who tells her to destroy the weapon if she doesn't have the chance to reach their hideout. On her way to the hideout, she decides to open the case out of curiosity to see what the weapon actually is, but she only discovers that the weapon is a young boy. Violet takes the case to Nerva and tells him that it's only a child, but Nerva believes that the child has cultured antigen in his blood that has the potential to exterminate every one of the hemophages when it contacts them. The Ark Ministry plans on spreading the antigen by atomizing its tissue into the atmosphere, which will in every way reach the infected ones and kill them in no time. So he's already made the decision to get rid of the child, which can kill them all. Violet says, what if an antigen in his blood can be reverse engineered into creating a cure for the infection? But Nerva isn't ready to listen to her, and her orders are to go away. However, Violet already knew this would happen, so she had already hidden the boy as she couldn't let him die. The boy in the briefcase, which Nerva tries to kill, is only a projection. After realizing that Violet has gone against them, Nerva mobilizes all the hemophages to find Violet and retrieve the boy from her. But due to her extraordinary abilities, she faces them and kills them all. Daxus finds out her location, which happens to be the hemophage's hideout. He gets the chance to converse with Violet and also orders his men to kill all the hemophages in the building. Daxus then tries to talk to Violet into giving the boy over to him, and also reveals that the boy is in fact his own son. She doesn't believe any of his words and tells him he's just a liar and a manipulator. Violet finds herself caught up in the crossfire as she becomes the protector of a boy who is a threat to humanity and has been marked for death by the military forces of Daxus. Violet manages to save the boy's life and takes him with her, but she warns him that she only saved him because his blood can potentially cure him, and if things get too complicated, she herself will put an end to his life. She asks him about his name. The boy doesn't talk much, so he uses his fingers to show that he was named Six. After knowing his name, Violet now has to figure out how to get his blood to create a cure for her disease. Her last resort is to reach out to her friend Garth for help. At first, Garth doesn't want to help and tells her he doesn't want anything to jeopardize his project. But Violet keeps persisting that he's the only one who can help her in this situation. So in the end, Garth decides to help her. He decides to draw blood out of Six and runs tests on it. While trying to get Six's blood, Violet sees scars in his body, which proves that he has gone through a lot of pain. Violet now slowly starts to feel empathetic towards Six. She feels very inclined at saving him, and she's willing to do anything in her capacity to help. She shares with the boy her childhood story and tells him that peaceful places don't exist. In a way, Six notices that Violet is dying, and he too feels sorry for her. Garth finally has the results of the test he did on Six's blood. He tells Violet after he checks her health status that Six doesn't have a single molecule of vampire antigen in his blood. He says all her assumptions on what the boy has in him and what they think he can cause are wrong, and he's of no use to them. Violet's not convinced by Garth's results that no cure can be reverse engineered from Six's blood since he has no antigen in him, but she's now curious about what Daxus' true intentions are by atomizing the Six's tissue into the atmosphere. Garth furthers his observation and says that Six also has a tracking device planted in him, but there's nothing to worry as the building they're in is shielded, and Daxus won't find his location as long as they're inside. However, there's something more serious. Garth reveals that Six is dying due to some kind of aggressive, antagonistic protein in his body, and he only has about 8 hours to live. Violet, on the other hand, decides to let go of Six, thinking that's the best option for her. Violet and Six part their ways at the airport, but later she feels concerned about his safety and then goes back to look for Six, but Nerva's men take Six right before she can save him. Violet then goes to a cemetery, which happens to be the new hideout for the hemophages. Nerva has hung the boy above a deep well so as to scare Violet away from them. Then Nerva reveals to her the real truth behind why everyone was after Six and what's exactly inside his body. Nerva has recently found out that the antigen in Six's blood are actually deadly to humans, not hemophages. That's why Daxus was after Six, and now Nerva is planning to use him as leverage against Daxus. With this, Violet already knows Nerva is just making a pretense to kill Six by hanging him, and that he cannot kill him since he's the only leverage he has over Daxus. Then Violet fights every other hemophage in the building, leaving just herself and Nerva. With almost certain death in front of him, Nerva lets go of the rope. Violet kills him and she grabs the rope before Six drops into the well. She then pulls him back and saves his life once again. After she saves him, Violet reveals everything to Six. She tells him that Daxus, who claims to be his father, has put an antagonistic protein inside of him and it will have him shut down very soon. Violet then assures him that she will do everything to get the antidote that can be used in saving him. So Violet contacts Daxus and asks him to remove whatever he's put in the child or give her the antidote that can be used to cure him. Daxus replies saying that the antigen has no cure, but Violet doesn't believe him at all. Violet tries to convince him to save the boy, who he claims to be his son. Daxus answers and clarifies that Six isn't his son, but just his clone, a number 6 in a series of 8. He continues by telling Violet that his previous claim was just a ruse to earn her sympathy, which didn't work out. Daxus also says he can help Violet make another clone that looks just like Six and also help with the problem that she has in her blood. He tells Violet to bring the boy to him, and he won't do anything to her. However, Violet doesn't get persuaded by this and tracks his call to find his location. She then makes her way to the Ark Ministry, hoping she'll get the antidote by fighting her way in. Daxus has already prepared his men, waiting for Violet to come. Violet reaches the Ark Ministry and asks for the antidote, but Daxus persists and says there's really truly no cure for the antigen. Violet tells Daxus that she knows he won't create a human, lethal antigen that will affect everybody when released without designing an antidote he can administer to himself and his men. Then Daxus finally admits that he indeed has an antidote, but he can't give it to her. He says that his aim for creating the antigen is to release it into the atmosphere with the use of Six and have every human infected with it. Then those who want to live will have to queue up at the Ark Ministry to get the antidote. This will give the Ark Ministry the ability to maintain its power since the hemophages are nearly exterminated and they'll need another reason to keep themselves in power. Then Daxus and his men shoot at Violet to try and kill her, but it turns out it was only her hologram. The real Violet has been watching it all along from far away. With Daxus refusing to give the antidote, Six tells Violet that it's not worth risking her life for him. Since he only has a few hours to live, Violet takes Six to a playground to have him spend his last few hours happily as a child. But later, Six collapses and dies right in front of Violet. Daxus and his men arrive a few minutes later, and seeing that Six is dead, Daxus gets mad. He asks his men to quarantine Six's corpse and get him to the Ark Ministry, thinking he could salvage at least something out of the body. Then he draws a gun out and shoots Violet, who's still shaken by Six's death. Daxus leaves the scene thinking that Violet is dead. However, before Violet actually dies, she gets saved by Garth and gets revived in his facility. Garth tells Violet that her heart stopped several times, but she was saved after he carried out surgery on her. She thinks she has no reason to be alive since she wasn't able to save Six and blames Garth for saving her life. She goes home and tries to kill herself, and then she sees on TV about the news of Six's death. For some reason, Violet starts to feel that Six is alive. Daxus has already set up everything he needs to dissect the boy to salvage viable basic protein analog that will save him time in reculturing the antigen inside another clone. Just before the dissection starts, Violet storms into the Ark Ministry. She kills all the forces that get in her way until she's left with Daxus alone. She manages to get Daxus infected with her blood, which means he too has become a hemophage now. But Daxus reveals to her that one of the reasons that he has managed to be at the position he is right now is that he knows how to deceive people. He reveals to her that he in fact was the person who had contracted the virus and kept it secret all these years. Violet and Daxus battle it out intensely, and in the end, Violet finally gets revenge on him and ends up killing him. Now she takes Six with her and tells him that everything will be okay. It turns out that Violet's tear had managed to immunize Six as it contained the hemophage virus. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more movie recaps.